Under a blood-red sky, Machiavelli walks through a marble hall lined with fading portraits of kings, each step echoing his philosophy of control.
It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but in the theater of human relations, it can be your sharpest weapon. Every smile, every measured compliment, every genuine acknowledgement is a blade sheathed in discretion, waiting to strike strategic advantage. The battlefield is daily life. The boardroom where careers pivot, the coffee shop where alliances form, the dinner table where loyalties are tested. Force can win a skirmish, but subtle influence wins the war. You must wield kindness deliberately, not carelessly, or risk becoming a pawn under the manipulative designs of others. The first principle is to recognize kindness as a hidden weapon. History records leaders who extended favors with precision, earning loyalty while masking the broader strategy. Generosity is not naive, it is armor and lure. When you invest thoughtfully in others, they see your goodwill as genuine. Yet beneath the gesture lies calculated authority. They follow not from fear, but respect. Knowing you command situations without overt aggression. Treat every compliment or act of assistance as a tactical deployment. Observe the impact, recalibrate and maintain control of the encounter. Weak, reacting impulsively. Strong, responding with deliberate timing. Next, understand the battlefield of daily life. Modern interactions, though seemingly mundane, are arenas where influence is won or lost. Meetings, social gatherings, online discourse, all become zones where subtle gestures determine perception. A calm nod can signal agreement and authority simultaneously. Listening intently while speaking sparingly marks you as the strategist, not the reactive participant. When someone challenges you, do not rush to defend. Instead, acknowledge, reframe, and guide the exchange to a constructive path. A colleague questioned a project direction. Instead of arguing, you validated their perspective, then redirected focus. The room aligned without conflict, loyalty strengthened through composed guidance. Finally, recognize the high-stakes choice. Neglecting the strategic dimension of kindness makes you vulnerable. The cost of indifference or misapplied warmth is becoming manipulated or overlooked. The reward for mastering it is immense. Influence that flows unseen, authority respected quietly, and alliances that endure. Each act must be intentional. Smile when it fortifies your presence. Assist when it advances your influence. Speak when it consolidates trust. Observe reactions. Adjust posture, and maintain calm vigilance. Treat every interaction as a maneuver on the board. Each move deliberate, each gesture weighted with consequence. The battlefield rewards those who combine generosity with control. Calm, strategic kindness transforms perception, builds loyalty, and positions you as both predator and sovereign. Practice restraint. Observe and deploy goodwill as a disciplined force. Every measured gesture becomes leverage, every attentive interaction a silent victory. Command attention not through volume, but through precision. Let your presence, your decisions, and your composure speak louder than force or coercion. In a world eager to confuse meekness with weakness, rise with discernment and let each act of kindness sharpen your influence. Your grace commands, your strength endures, your mind is your throne. Every thought, every impulse, every fleeting emotion is a subject vying for influence over your decisions. To command respect and wield kindness as power, you must first establish authority within yourself. Crowning your thoughts begins with discipline. Nurture ideas that fortify strategy. Discard those that invite distraction or indecision. Leaders who succeed do not entertain every passing notion. They purge weak advisors from the counsel of their mind. Each day, assess which beliefs serve your objectives and which erode your influence. This is the act of coronation, deciding who governs your inner realm. Weak, reacting to every impulse. Strong, ruling deliberately, observing the battlefield of the mind before acting. Perception is power. Your mental throne is visible through your comportment. Calm confidence projects authority, even when outwardly generous. Kindness without control is interpreted as weakness, opening avenues for exploitation. Observe the way your composure influences interactions. A measured gesture, a deliberate pause, a controlled tone signals competence. Historical figures often combined visible generosity with private vigilance, ensuring loyalty without sacrificing strategic advantage. One minister approached a ruler with a contentious proposal. Instead of rejecting it openly, the leader listened, acknowledged the merit, then redirected the initiative to align with broader goals. Authority was maintained, dissent neutralized without conflict. Guarding the inner citadel is essential. Leaders who project generosity while maintaining internal calm retain the ultimate advantage. Inner turmoil leaks into action, undermining influence. Set boundaries for mental energy. Allocate focus to allies who strengthen your position. Disregard provocations designed to destabilize. Study precedents where controlled kindness secured power. Careful attention to morale and perception amplified influence, while impulsive generosity eroded authority. Each decision must be intentional. Strengthen your defenses with reflection and discipline. Know that the battlefield of influence begins within. Command your mental throne. Reject distractions. Cultivate clarity and ensure every act of kindness emerges from strategy, not impulse. Observe, deliberate, and act with precision. Let every thought serve your sovereignty and every gesture reinforce your authority. Stand unwavering. A ruler whose inner fortress remains untouchable regardless of external pressures. Your mind determines the reach and impact of your influence. Master it and the world bows silently. Rule within, command without. Every morning is a battlefield. The hours after dawn are not idle moments. They are your first strategic maneuvers, shaping the perception and energy of the day ahead. Mastery of these hours translates into control over interactions that follow, giving you the subtle edge others fail to recognize. Approach your morning with deliberate intent. Prioritize focus, structure, and preparation. Your body and mind are troops. Deploy them with discipline. Weak, starting in reaction. Scattered and rushed. Strong, advancing with purpose. Each action a calculated move on the day's chessboard. The dawn offensive begins with a structured routine. Simple acts. Rising at a consistent hour, engaging in focused reflection, planning tasks, become preemptive strikes against chaos and distraction. Energy is finite. Its allocation determines the outcome of skirmishes throughout the day. The leader who prepares in solitude commands attention when challenges emerge. Observe your own patterns and reinforce those that generate calm productivity. This is not ritual for ritual's sake. It is tactical positioning. Your mind, sharpened at the start, will project confidence and competence in every subsequent interaction. Controlling initial impressions is the next strategic objective. A calm, intentional demeanor signals authority without aggression. Small gestures, offering thoughtful input, listening actively, acknowledging colleagues, lay a foundation of influence before any debate or negotiation begins. Modern office and social environments are filled with subtle skirmishes where attention, respect, and alliance are won or lost in minutes. One teammate proposed an alternative plan in a morning meeting. Instead of dismissing it immediately, You acknowledged the insight, reframed the discussion to align with objectives, and maintained control. Respect increased, tension diminished, and influence strengthened without confrontation. Weak, reactive, or defensive posture. Strong, composed, selective engagement that shapes perception. The silent skirmish continues in subtle cues throughout the day. Timing of speech, posture, facial expression, and responsiveness. These micro-movements convey strategy as clearly as words. Observe where attention drifts, adjust presence, and reinforce your authority through calm, consistent actions. Each early decision and measured act compounds, determining alliances, cooperation, and trust. Energy invested in deliberate kindness, observation, and composure yields disproportionate returns. Your influence spreads silently, leaving others unaware of the calculated precision guiding your behavior. Command your morning like a seasoned general. Prepare with intention, execute each gesture with precision, and anticipate the movements of those around you. Every calm smile, measured word, and structured action fortifies your position. The hours you own first are the hours that dictate the rest. Control them, and the battlefield of the day bends subtly to your advantage. Conquer the dawn, command the day. Stillness is power. In the moments between stimulus and response lies a strategic advantage few recognize. Pausing before speaking or acting transforms ordinary kindness into a weapon that commands attention. Like a predator surveying the terrain, you gain clarity, measure impact, and project authority. The predator's pause is deliberate, calculated. It is the difference between reaction and control. Weak, rushing to fill silence. Strong, observing, assessing, and deploying presence with precision. Selective silence reinforces this authority. Speak with intent, not habit. Timing dictates perception. The act of restraint creates anticipation, making your words weightier and your gestures more meaningful. In modern interactions, whether a negotiation, a team discussion, or a casual conversation, allowing space before responding signals confidence and discernment. One colleague proposed a contentious idea in a meeting. Rather than replying immediately, you paused, considered implications, then framed your response in alignment with both objectives and relationships. Tension eased, influence subtly consolidated, and respect for your calm judgment deepened. Weak, impulsive rebuttal. Strong, measured articulation. Turning calm into leverage extends beyond speech. Each unhurried smile, nod, or acknowledgement becomes a silent strike, shaping perception without overt assertion. Your composure signals stability, suggesting competence that inspires trust and deference. Observe reactions carefully. Small adjustments amplify effect. Maintaining an unflappable demeanor communicates power more effectively than volume or insistence. In essence, your presence alone becomes a strategic tool. Every gesture, however slight, is a move on the chessboard of influence, shifting dynamics in your favor. Weak, hasty, or inconsistent behavior. Strong, deliberate, silent calibration. Command your interactions through stillness. Treat each pause as a calculated offensive, each measured word as reinforcement of authority. Your calm is a shield and a spear, projecting control while masking intent. Discipline your timing, refine your gestures, and allow observation to dictate engagement. Subtlety here is supremacy. Your influence grows as others unconsciously align with your measured presence. Mastering stillness turns ordinary kindness into a strategic advantage that few perceive and even fewer counter. Every moment of deliberate calm fortifies your position, ensuring your authority is recognized without overt assertion. Silence strikes louder than words. Kindness is tactical, not indiscriminate. Generosity without discernment weakens influence, dilutes authority, and leaves you vulnerable. Every act of goodwill must serve a purpose. Each engagement is a maneuver on the battlefield of human interaction. Begin by cutting the dead weight. Identify relationships that drain energy, foster dependency, or subtly undermine your position. Not all connections merit investment. Weak, attempting to maintain every tie. Strong, recognizing which alliances advance objectives and which consume resources without return. Severe or distance from these drains calmly, deliberately, without resentment or drama. Preserve composure while protecting your strategic interests. Strategic disengagement is a hallmark of effective influence. History shows leaders who selectively allied with those who amplified power while quietly marginalizing detractors. Machiavellian strategy emphasizes measured separation rather than overt confrontation. Detach from alliances that fail to reinforce your objectives, allowing space for relationships that yield loyalty, trust, and collaboration. This is not cruelty, it is prioritization. Consider a scenario in a corporate setting. A colleague repeatedly resists collaboration and spreads doubt about initiatives. Instead of engaging in endless disputes, you allocate attention to those aligned with goals, steering energy toward constructive influence. Authority grows quietly, while opposition diminishes without public conflict. Weak, attempting to control every voice. Strong, guiding energy where it achieves maximum effect. Preserving energy for real battles is essential. Kindness is most powerful when deployed with precision, not scattered carelessly across every interaction. Focus on opportunities where generosity creates leverage, reinforces alliances, and consolidates authority. Small, deliberate gestures, acknowledgement of effort, timely support, constructive feedback compound over time into significant strategic advantage. Observing where influence is reciprocated maximizes impact. Wasting effort on indifferent parties reduces your capacity to lead effectively. Maintain vigilance and evaluate constantly. Each engagement should either fortify relationships, project competence, or advance objectives. Execute ruthlessness with discretion. Recognize the difference between necessary elimination and needless conflict. Your reputation for calm, controlled kindness gains credibility when paired with deliberate prioritization. Measure your acts, direct energy strategically, and preserve power for interactions that determine outcomes. Authority is reinforced not by indiscriminate generosity, but by thoughtful allocation of attention, respect, and support. Let others know you are deliberate without appearing harsh. Your strength lies in discernment, your influence in precision, and your presence in composed command. Direct your kindness, dominate your battlefield. Your public demeanor is a mask of command. The face you present in high-stakes interactions can convey warmth while concealing unwavering authority. Smiles, compliments, and measured gestures are armor, signals of approachability that protect your strategic position. The charismatic facade disarms scrutiny, allowing influence to flow unnoticed. Weak, blunt aggression or excessive openness, strong, controlled projection of confidence wrapped in approachable gestures. Each outward expression must reinforce presence, not betray indecision. Controlled vulnerability is a tool of loyalty, not pity. Reveal weakness selectively, allowing others to see humanity without undermining authority. Strategic disclosure inspires trust, fosters connection, and secures allegiance. Observe the balance. Oversharing invites exploitation, withholding entirely breeds distance. In one negotiation, you acknowledged a temporary limitation in resources, but framed it alongside a plan for collaboration. Opponents shifted perception, respect increased, and cooperation strengthened without compromising leverage. Weak, unfiltered honesty. Strong, deliberate revelation that guides perception and loyalty. Psychological camouflage extends the mask of command. Appearances of warmth and attentiveness influence outcomes subtly. A nod, a patient listening posture, or a timely acknowledgement shapes behavior more than forceful argument. Subtle cues reinforce compliance, encourage collaboration, and guide decisions toward objectives. Your demeanor becomes a strategic instrument, each gesture a move on the psychological battlefield. Maintain consistency. Erratic displays of warmth or sudden aggression compromise authority. Observe reactions and calibrate gestures to maintain optimal influence. Weak, reactive, or inconsistent displays. Strong, deliberate, nuanced projection of warmth and control. Deploy your mask deliberately. Command presence through charisma while protecting inner authority. Align public gestures with strategic objectives, ensuring that kindness amplifies influence rather than diluting it. Each interaction is an opportunity to solidify loyalty, shape perception, and achieve subtle dominance. Let every smile, nod, and compliment carry weight. Let each pause convey control. The mask is not deception, it is mastery, projecting certainty while orchestrating outcomes from the shadows. Authority grows silently, influence extends quietly, and your presence dominates without overt force. Project warmth, command silently. Benevolence is impotent without action. Kindness alone cannot secure influence. It must be paired with decisive execution. The inner assassin is the disciplined force that ensures strategy is realized. Historical leaders balanced mercy with lethal precision, rewarding loyalty while eliminating threats efficiently and discreetly. Weak, indulgent patience, strong, deliberate action paired with measured generosity. Recognize that results are the currency of authority, and without them, benevolence becomes a hollow gesture. Executing with precision requires clarity of intent and timing. When obstacles arise, assess the situation calmly, determine the necessary course, and act with resolute efficiency. Consider a ruler who faced rebellious governors. Rather than allowing prolonged dissent, decisive measures neutralized threats while simultaneously rewarding compliant factions. Authority was reinforced, stability maintained, and public perception remained positive. Your acts of kindness must coexist with an unwavering commitment to objectives. Influence is gained through results as much as goodwill, weak, hesitation, or diffuse effort. Strong, targeted, purposeful action. The quiet elimination of obstacles is a hallmark of strategic mastery. Remove interference without drama, maintaining public goodwill, subtle reassignment, private correction, or redirection of resources achieves control without visible conflict. In modern settings, this might mean addressing underperformance decisively while preserving relationships and morale. A team member consistently undermined project cohesion. A private conversation clarified expectations and consequences, reinforcing standards without public humiliation. The threat was neutralized, collaboration restored, and authority affirmed. Weak public confrontation or delayed response. Strong, discreet, effective resolution that preserves dignity. Cultivate the shadow within. Ruthlessness need not be visible. It is a private companion to public kindness. Internal discipline, strategic patience, and readiness to act decisively define your capacity to wield influence effectively. A leader who projects warmth while harboring a decisive core commands respect, navigates complex interactions, and ensures objectives are met. Observe, plan, and execute with precision. Let every act of kindness carry strategic intent, every smile reinforces authority, and every decision protects outcomes. Your power is amplified when benevolence is inseparable from decisive capability. Kindness wields the sword unseen. Influence is sustained through strategic generosity. Feeding the wolf is the deliberate investment in relationships that amplify your power. Every act of kindness, when directed thoughtfully, strengthens allies, creates networks, and positions you as a central figure in collaborative dynamics. Weak, indiscriminate giving. Strong, targeted, purposeful support that builds loyalty and reciprocity. Your generosity becomes a tool, a signal of competence and foresight that attracts cooperation rather than exploitation. Investing in loyalty begins with everyday acts that foster indebtedness without resentment. Small, consistent gestures, acknowledgement of effort, assistance in problem-solving, timely support accumulate into trust and reliability. The modern workplace or social environment is a complex ecosystem where these gestures signal awareness and leadership. One colleague struggled to meet deadlines, offering guidance while recognizing their effort strengthened their commitment to objectives. Weak, reactive or sporadic support. Strong, deliberate, consistent reinforcement of bonds that reinforce collaboration. Creating the pack extends influence beyond individual relationships. Form coalitions where kindness secures obedience and collaboration. Shared goals, mutual respect, and subtle recognition of contributions form the basis of a cohesive network. In group settings, acknowledge achievements publicly while offering private guidance to maintain alignment. The pack becomes a force multiplier. Loyalty and collective effort amplify your strategic position. Weak, isolated acts without cohesion. Strong, coordinated, networked influence through selective generosity. The return on influence is measured over time. Subtle favors, timely interventions, and consistent support ripple outward, creating leverage that benefits both objectives and relationships. Observe patterns of reciprocity and engagement. Redirect resources toward interactions that yield sustained advantage. Influence is cumulative. The wolf you feed today secures protection, insight, and alignment tomorrow. Maintain awareness of how each act of generosity reinforces authority and shapes behavior. Weak, short-term or inconsistent gestures. Strong, calculated investments that compound strategic advantage. Command your network with intention. Feed the wolf not indiscriminately, but with precision, fostering loyalty, collaboration, and long-term influence. Each act of kindness is a strategic maneuver, each gesture a move on the chessboard of relationships. Build alliances that amplify your power while preserving autonomy and composure. Your presence becomes central, your influence exponential, and your authority undeniable. Feed the wolf, lead the pack. Life is a chessboard, and kindness is a piece with unique power. Every gesture, every calculated act of generosity moves you closer to control over the game. Positional advantage begins with awareness. Place yourself where your influence yields maximum effect. In social and professional arenas, small acts of recognition or support at critical junctures multiply into leverage, shaping alliances and perceptions. Weak, random or reactive gestures. Strong, deliberate placement of generosity to control outcomes. Sacrifices for greater gains are integral to mastery. A pawn's apparent insignificance mirrors small acts that secure long-term victories. Invest attention, time, or resources strategically, knowing each calculated concession can create leverage that compounds over time. One manager prioritized mentoring a less experienced colleague. Seemingly minor, yet it fostered loyalty that later secured critical support during organizational restructuring. Weak, short-term focus without foresight. Strong, measured sacrifices that yield strategic advantage. Predicting the moves of others transforms kindness into influence resistant to manipulation. Anticipate reactions, study patterns, and align gestures to preempt resistance or misinterpretation. In negotiations, acknowledging a counterpart's effort before proposing your own agenda frames interactions favorably. Observe body language, timing, and emotional cues to adjust interventions without compromising authority. Weak, reactive or impulsive generosity. Strong, predictive, informed acts that maintain control. Deploy kindness as a strategic piece, not a passive virtue. Every act should advance position, fortify alliances, and subtly dictate outcomes. The chessboard of life rewards those who balance foresight with measured generosity, turning influence into an enduring advantage. Let each move be deliberate, each interaction purposeful, and each gesture a reinforcement of authority and respect. Your game is won quietly, through calculation, subtlety, and strategic benevolence. Move kindness like a queen. Discipline is the forge where influence is tempered, and kindness becomes a weapon. Each day, your mind and body are battlefields. The rituals you undertake project stability and reliability that others unconsciously respect. Begin with daily exercises in self-mastery, structured routines that cultivate focus, patience, and controlled energy. Every repeated action signals authority, demonstrating that your intentions are deliberate, not reactive. Weak, sporadic acts of generosity. Strong, consistent, calculated demonstrations that reinforce your presence as a measured force. The psychological anchor lies in repetition. Controlled generosity, when practiced methodically, trains perception. Colleagues, friends, and allies learn to expect your calm interventions and measured support, which subtly elevates your influence. Strategic acts of acknowledgement, guidance, or assistance are most effective when predictable enough to instill trust, but scarce enough to retain impact. One leader routinely recognized team contributions at the same time each week, building loyalty while maintaining authority. Small, consistent gestures that yielded outsized influence. Enduring through conflict solidifies reputation. Provocation tests composure, and restraint in these moments signals unshakable authority. Respond with calm efficiency. Let kindness be measured but unwavering, a shield that disarms hostility without sacrificing position. In high-stakes discussions, a colleague openly challenged a proposal. Instead of reacting defensively, you acknowledged their input, reframed the point strategically, and maintained your stance, demonstrating both empathy and authority simultaneously. Weak, impulsive reactions under stress. Strong, disciplined presence that turns pressure into advantage. Your iron will is reflected in both action and consistency. Treat every interaction as a micro-battle. Project calm. Deliver measured generosity, and enforce boundaries without aggression. Over time, these rituals compound into a reputation that amplifies every act of kindness, transforming it from a simple gesture into an enduring instrument of influence. Let every routine, every practiced restraint, and every disciplined act serve the dual purpose of self-mastery and outward authority. Forge strength through ritual. Mastery is not earned in haste. It is forged through deliberate, disciplined action, where kindness becomes both weapon and shield. You cultivate an invisible armor, calm benevolence, that deflects attacks and preserves influence. Every measured gesture, every composed response, signals strength without aggression, and it deters opposition before it arises. Weak, reactive kindness. Strong, proactive composure that anticipates challenges and neutralizes them silently. Your reputation is the ultimate armor. Public perception transforms your consistent generosity into strategic dominance. When peers, colleagues, and competitors recognize a pattern of unwavering composure coupled with deliberate acts of support, kindness becomes untouchable. Historical examples abound of leaders whose disciplined conduct commanded respect. Their magnanimity shielded them from criticism while reinforcing authority. Small acts, when repeated with precision, build an aura that is impervious to casual undermining. The apex predator of influence moves unseen, yet commands attention. You operate from a position where gestures are calculated, smiles are measured, and every action serves both personal and relational strategy. Consider a scenario where a team member questioned a proposed initiative. Instead of defensive retorts, you acknowledged their viewpoint calmly, reinforced the rationale behind your approach, and maintained your demeanor. This demonstrated that challenges cannot erode authority, yet respect is preserved. Weak, defensive engagement. Strong, composed, strategic presence that absorbs tension and converts it into influence. The psychological thrill of untouchable influence stems from integration of discipline, composure, and strategic generosity. You are visible yet unassailable, gracious yet commanding, benevolent yet decisive. Every decision, every smile, every nod is a subtle strike, reinforcing alliances, silencing detractors, and projecting control. Let your calm presence dominate the room. Let consistent, principled action define your influence. Let kindness be both shield and weapon. Stand unshaken, rule with grace. Your throne is built not with noise, but with discipline, precision, and calculated generosity. You have become the apex of influence, a figure whose calm commands attention, whose kindness operates as silent leverage, and whose strategy unfolds unseen yet unavoidable. Every lesson converges here. Mental discipline sharpens perception, strategic stillness enforces authority, selective generosity cultivates loyalty, and ruthlessness ensures obstacles are removed without hesitation. Weak, scattered benevolence, strong, focused, integrated mastery that transforms every action into power. Visualize yourself ascending the throne of silent command. Each movement is deliberate, each gesture measured. You operate like a predator atop a vantage point, surveying the terrain with awareness that every interaction, every alliance, every word can shift the balance of power. Acts of kindness are not naive. They are calculated instruments that reinforce your reputation and protect your position. Small, unhurried acknowledgements create bonds, inspire loyalty, and subtly guide outcomes without visible coercion. Selective disengagement trims distractions, focusing your energy on those relationships that amplify influence. Unified mastery is the fusion of all previous disciplines. Daily routines cultivate mental resilience, pauses transform patience into strategic leverage, and controlled generosity communicates strength. Consider a team meeting where conflicting opinions arise. Instead of reacting impulsively, you listen fully, allow tension to surface, then intervene with clarity and calm. Authority is reinforced not through volume or aggression, but through timing, insight, and composure. Weak, reactive dominance. Strong, measured interventions that guide outcomes while preserving respect. The final form, transformation, is the throne itself, a metaphor for ascending beyond visible struggle. You are present but not threatened, gracious but unassailable, merciful yet decisive. Every act is deliberate, a smile that reassures, a nod that empowers, a boundary that commands respect. Public perception becomes armor. Your history of composure and strategic generosity convinces observers that your influence is both benevolent and untouchable. The psychological effect of consistent, disciplined conduct deters opposition before it manifests. Living this philosophy converts life into a high-stakes chessboard. You are simultaneously king and predator, navigating daily challenges with foresight, anticipating reactions, and using small acts to secure long-term gains. Every encounter is an opportunity to reinforce influence. Every decision a calculated advance. Invest in loyalty where it matters, discard relationships that drain power, and let patience dictate engagement. By mastering self first, external control becomes inevitable. Your apex is reached when kindness is both shield and weapon, when calm radiates authority, and when strategy is invisible yet undeniable. You are untouchable not through intimidation, but through integration of discipline, foresight, and measured benevolence. Each interaction becomes a subtle strike, each alliance a fortified asset, and each decision a testament to silent command. Weak, fragmented influence. Strong, harmonious mastery that compels respect without coercion. Rule unseen, command unshaken. Every gesture you make carries weight. Discipline your kindness to become deliberate, a weapon unseen yet impactful. Each morning, practice intentional acts, acknowledge effort, offer support, or extend a measured favor. These small, consistent gestures are invisible maneuvers on life's battlefield, shaping perception and cultivating loyalty without confrontation. Weak, random generosity. Strong, targeted influence that advances your strategic position. Internalize the mantra, your throne commands, not demands. Let composure anchor your interactions. Speak with measured calm, move with deliberate intention, and smile when appropriate. Your demeanor signals authority without aggression, creating anticipation and respect. Consider a colleague attempting to derail a project. Instead of reacting with irritation, maintain calm, acknowledge their concern briefly, and redirect focus. Authority is reinforced by patience, not volume. Your subtlety transforms every encounter into leverage, turning ordinary kindness into a strategic advantage. Focus daily on self-mastery, shape routines that reinforce reliability, punctuality, consistency in communication, and measured generosity. Each repetition strengthens your reputation as a figure of stability. Allies begin to rely on your composure and fairness, seeing your actions as predictable yet commanding. This psychological anchor creates trust while reinforcing boundaries. Weak, sporadic engagement. Strong, consistent, disciplined presence that commands respect effortlessly. Recognize the reward of mastery. Respect follows where competence and composure intersect. Loyalty arises where generosity is deliberate and unwavering. Influence manifests not through intimidation, but through the quiet authority of someone who acts with foresight and discipline. Subtle favors ripple outward, reinforcing alliances and creating a network of reciprocal support. Each interaction becomes a move on a grand chessboard, advancing your position while maintaining harmony. Commit fully to this path. Let kindness be precise, strategic, and inseparable from self-control. Repetition of deliberate acts builds a reputation that precedes you, disarming resistance and inspiring cooperation. Your throne is not constructed from fear or manipulation, but from the integration of mastery, discipline, and measured benevolence. Stand firm, act intentionally, and let every gesture project authority and grace. Your throne commands, not demands.